Hello? I'm praying. Oh? Okay.
I'll just sit here.
Yes? Uh-oh. Okay, so she said some people need the program. Are they finished? Where the program? Maybe you should go around and just I need it, please. She's here. Don't worry. Damani, I prefer irin mic da ba sai ka rike ba. Yes? Okay. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the presentation of the iPRODUCE Agribusiness Hub. We truly appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us here today. My name is Farida Aminu from the iPRODUCE team, and I'll be taking you through the program of this occasion. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment, His Excellency Mr. Ni Adebayo, members of the diplomatic community, our sponsors, the Islamic Development Bank, our partners, Jaiz Bank, Sterling Bank, Center for African Research on Enterprise and Economic Development, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, iCreate, and Adelab, members of the press, and guests here present. We really appreciate all of you and hope you find this outing worthwhile. iPRODUCE Agribusiness Hub is an initiative of Inara Foundation, a private sector initiative that seeks to help the diversification drive of the economy from oil to agriculture. To begin, I'd like to invite our panelists of the day to please come forward and take their seats, starting with the founder and CEO of Inara Foundation, Mrs. Aisha Waziri Umar, a legal practitioner and notary public. A round of applause, please. She is also the CEO of Inara Enterprises, an agribusiness startup promoting trade and value addition of agricultural products sourced from rural communities across Nigeria. Aisha Umar holds a bachelor and master's degree in law and a postgraduate diploma in global business from Oxford University. She also obtained a postgraduate certificate of advanced trade studies in 2021 from the World Trade Institute at the University of Bern, Switzerland. She is currently a PhD student at the University of the West of Scotland, researching Nigeria's engagement with the World Trade Organization dispute settlement system. A round of applause for Ms. Aisha, please. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite Dr. Nuruddin Abubakar Zoro from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Can we have a round of applause? Dr. Nuruddin Abubakar is a strategy and policy development specialist from the Development Finance Department of Central Bank of Nigeria. Next, I'd like to invite Oduenyi Okonkwo from the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Round of applause. Thank you. Oduenyi Okonkwo is the workstream lead, export exclusion of the Export Expansion Facility Program. And finally, I'd like to invite the interim chairman of the Association of Pastoral Feeds, Mr. Mohammed Ali Baba. Can we have a round of applause? I'd also like to invite Abdul Jabbar Hashim Kolo, Chairman Arewa Youth Agropreneurs, known as IAP. Can we have a round of applause? We also have goodwill messages from a key government agency and renowned economists. First, from Mr. Olusegun Awolowo, the CEO of Nigerian Export Promotion Council. We also have esteemed economist and African researcher, Professor John Struthers, the Director, Center for African Research on Enterprise and Economic Development at the University of the West of Scotland. We have also His Highness Muhammadu Sanusi II, the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, currently a visiting fellow of the prestigious Oxford University, England. Now, before the formal presentation of iPRODUCE, we would like our esteemed panelists to speak to the issue at hand, which is leveraging income-generating opportunities for youth in Nigeria's agricultural sector, as well as the role they play in making this a reality. We will start with Dr. Nuruddin Abubakar from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Dr. Nuruddin, we would like you to talk to us for about 10 minutes about the central bank's role in reducing youth unemployment through targeted intervention in the agribusiness sector. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister, other panelists and invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, and I feel delighted. It is indeed an opportunity for me to stand before you here, to sit before you here as a panelist, of course, for us to discuss this very important topic. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and I'm here to represent the Director of Development Finance Department, Mr. Philip Yila Yusuf, who is unavoidably not here because of the engagements, but I'm here to represent him. Okay, as you are all aware, Central Bank of Nigeria indeed has been playing a very big role, considering the fact that, you know, in the country today, there's a need for us, you know, to do some targeted interventions in the country so that we can make progress, particularly in the agricultural sector. As we are all aware, that is one of the main agenda of the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. And notable among some of those interventions, I will just, because of the time and all of that, so be highlighting some of the key ones that our youth of today can actually take advantage of them so that, you know, they can venture into agribusiness space. The number one I will talk about, of course, we all know about the Anko Borrower program. A lot of things have actually gone in that space, and we have, through that interventions, so far we have financed over 3 million youth, participants that we finance across the country. So far financed about 24 different commodities, and it's still an opportunity because like this program today in our foundation, it's also a window through which people can organize themselves in form of association, in form of cooperatives, or processors that are currently sitting in this room. They can take advantage of that. They can do some form of outgrower schemes using their platform, for them to enhance, availability of raw materials so that they can do production. That in itself is a way in which we can be able to, empower a lot of youth across the country. Another intervention I can also talk about, which is also meant for big players, we have commercial agriculture credit scheme, whereby also processors as well and other existing businesses can also use it to expand throughout the agricultural value chain, right from production up to consumption level. So all that can actually be done. And there's an obligor limit of about 2 billion naira, whereby, it depends on your financing need. You can take advantage of that and you can, access the funding in there. So Nigerian youth, again, because of the consideration of, their vulnerability in this space, especially we have a lot of insecurities. Recently, we also introduced another accelerated program, which we call AADS, Accelerated Agricultural Development Scheme, whereby states can identify their, at least 2 basic commodities that they have advantage over in terms of production. We're targeting creating jobs of about 10,000 youths, across the country. So that has to do with the state government to come together, to come forward to Central Bank and say, hey, we want to engage our youth. They provide large expanse of land and identify those people that can cultivate on the land. Central Bank will be used to develop all the necessary infrastructure on the land. Then production will now take place in that. That will also take our youth off the street. That's another intervention that we can also take advantage of. Recently, last year, 2020, because of the uprising, we collaborated with Ministry of Youth and Sports Development and President Muhammadu Buhari on 1st October 2020 launched one of the intervention program, which we call National Youth Investment Scheme, Nigerian Youth Investment Scheme. So when we launched that one, it's also meant for youth 18 to 25 years, to 35 years. It's also a window where our youth can be gainfully engaged. So we have quite a number of pockets of opportunities that are there. We also know of Msmes, we also know of TCF, which is the COVID-19 loan that every other person can need. So in the agricultural space, all I'm trying to say here is that there are a whole lot of opportunities. The main issue here is about awareness, and I think INARA is doing a lot of things by bringing youth together here. I think we need to give them accolades in that, because bringing this kind of forum, yeah. Okay, I can tell you is one of the passion, of Central Bank Governor to ensure that this kind of initiatives have been, supported by way of providing low-cost fund. As you are aware, our interventions normally are single-digit, and currently, because of COVID-19, they're at 5%. We also have non-interest windows where you can go through non-interest banks and then apply for those kind of schemes. So in summary, all I'm trying to say here is that Central Bank is there for you and in support of the federal government, of President Muhammadu Buhari, because of its passion to support Nigerian youth, to create jobs and, of course, take them off street, to be gainfully employed, particularly in the agribusiness. Everybody knows that agribusiness now is the oil for Nigeria. So we have to engage our youth, and they have to take advantage of that. Please, I can tell you, Director, message is that we are here for this. We are in support of this kind of programs. And then if there are any, there are some groups that are interested in this kind of accessing some of these interventions. Our guidelines are pretty much available, cbn.gov.ng, but you can also come forward. The Central Bank is there for you, and I can tell you that we are ready to finance you. If you have, a kind of a bankable kind of businesses, then I can tell you the Central Bank will support you in that. In our foundation, thank you for this advocacy for us, and I can tell you that if you have more people, please engage them, then we are there so that we can support them, so that the agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari in agricultural space will be supported. Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Nuruddin, for telling us about the role of the central bank in reducing youth unemployment through targeted intervention in the agribusiness sector. Now, over to you, Oduenyi Okonko from the Nigerian Exports Promotion Council. Can you tell us more about Nigeria's zero oil plan in about 5 minutes, please?
Yeah, thank you very much, Farida. My name is Oduenyi Okonkwo,
and I work with the National Export Promotion Council under its intervention program called the Export Expansion Facility Program. As we all know, the world is changing really fast and moving away from oil dependence to non-oil. And in recognition of these facts, the NEPC and the federal government put together a strategy to take the country from largely exporting oil to promote and diversify the economy to export non-oil produce. And this plan is called the Zero Oil Plan. And in the Zero Oil Plan, it recognizes the products, especially in the agri sector, that the country can export. But not only that, the Zero Oil Plan also looks at how Nigeria can also export services as well, because the world is changing. We don't only export products, but more emphasis now on service exports. And because we're talking about youth today, I will talk about what the EEFP, the intervention program that the NEPC has put together to help exporters that were affected by COVID come back and adjust to the shocks of that period, and also bring more people who were not exporters before into the export trade. So we have a two-pronged strategy: expand the space for export now to bring new entrants, equip them with the skills and the knowledge that they need, and also equip those who were exporting, but because of the period of COVID and their businesses were affected, give them some kind of support to help them bounce back. And as we're doing that, for the youths, we have a program called the Zero to Export Program. And one of our goals is to take 20,000 youths from zero knowledge in exports to full-fledged knowledge in exports, give them the skills, give them the technical support that they can use to start to participate in international trade. And there's so many opportunities. There are opportunities in exporting products, but some of these youths might not be able to plug in directly, and we also have aggregation centers so that they can produce, maybe organize themselves in cooperatives and plug into the aggregation centers where they'll be able to take advantage of collective bargaining, and of course they would be able to participate in the export value chain. In terms of services, what we are doing is looking at the service ecosystem. Increasingly, companies abroad are looking at Nigeria to supply business services, whether it's accounting, law. I mean, there's a huge incentive to look at Nigeria as a country. First of all, we speak very good English, and we have a very youthful population. A majority of our population is made up of youths. And there are a few businesses that currently engage youths, train them with the skills they need, so you can wake up in Nigeria today and you're providing accounting services to companies abroad. So what we are doing at the EEFP is providing the training to youths through skill acceleration centers that we're going to work with, and foundations like INARA, to be able to equip more youths to have these skills that are sought after, so that they can also export their services to companies anywhere in the world. And we think that this is a very useful intervention because it cuts the constraints of distance, time. You can be in Maiduguri and through your laptop or your phone, you're able to connect to the international business space and provide useful services. Also, we're looking at dealing with universities in 3 states in Nigeria as well to provide some of these skill centers so that youths can also go in there and get the training for a very, very subsidized amount. So those are the things that we're actually working on at the EEFP as it relates to getting youths into export trade, and all these fall under our Zero Oil Plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Odoinye Okonko, for the talk. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Abdul Jabbar Hashim Kolo, Chairman IAP, to tell us a little bit about IAP.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abdul Jabbar Kolo. I'm the chairman of Ariwa Youth Agripreneurs. So we're a platform of young business owners in the agri industry, in Nigeria. Our members are between the ages of 18 and 30. So first of all, our main aim is to try and synergize and to share information, and there are several challenges we're going through. So possibly there are other people in the same industry that have gone through the same sort of challenge. So we aim to see how we can share information between ourselves and take advantage of that. Secondly, we understand that agric is a very, very unionized and cooperative-based industry. Therefore, we want to give each other a voice through our platform so that we can serve to protect our own youth interest in agriculture, as well as encourage youth participation in agriculture. We're very excited about the iPRODUCE platform that's going to be launched today by NARA Foundation, because it aligns with several of the goals we have as an organization as well, because it's going to expand the market potential for our members. It's also going to identify legitimate business owners that we can go into business with. So that's all, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abdul Jabbar, for the remarks. I'd now like to call on the interim chairman of the Association of Pastoral Feeds, Mohammed Ali Baba, to tell us a little bit more about the association and what they do.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate this opportunity to speak on our pet project. First, I need to also show appreciation for the activities that the NARA Foundation is doing. We've been partners in some of these initiatives. It's a very commendable one. Now, this is a new association in the offing. Now, we all are aware of the challenges we've had with farmer-herder clashes. Largely, it has, blossomed into a tragedy of monumental proportions that is threatening this country. And that's largely, of course, we know because of the neglect of the past. Generally, since the discovery of oil, agriculture has been neglected. But the most neglected part of agriculture has been the livestock aspect. Experts in that field suggest that the largest cost of running a livestock business is the feed. It's constituted about 70%. And then you can imagine when the largest part of your business is to be sourced free. Because that's what itinerant herding is built upon. You want to sustain a business substantially free. And then, of course, with the population explosion, and of course, governmental collapse generally, because the institutions that are supposed to guide and support them have gone, to sleep. Increasingly you have these clashes, population explosion, and then of course, increasing interest also in agriculture has led to expansion in the fields to be cultivated. And then, like I said, because the government has gone to sleep, the initial arrangement that has provided a symbiotic relationship between the farmers and the herders is non-existent. We used to have grazing routes, and then of course, perhaps with the advent of inorganic fertilizer too, but before, it's these herders that usually fertilize the farms for the farmers. So usually they are welcomed, because they also are rendering some free inputs to the farmers. Now all these are in the past now, and increasingly, the insecurity also has added to that. Then we have the climate change. All these have compounded the problem so that the movement, initially, these herders used to move maybe during dry season because pasture is more available in the south. They usually return during rainy season. These days, because of insecurity, when they go, they stay put. And increasingly, too, the same problem we're having in crop agriculture, the youth have abandoned agriculture. The old men are tired. So it's children now that, oversee this herding. So it further compounds it because the children, first and foremost, that is child abuse according to, But most importantly, they don't have what it takes to actually manage these herds. They easily get distracted, and then, of course, even to identify the differences between grass and some crops is an issue to these small children. So all this compounds the problem. Now, better late than never, we seem to be waking up to this reality. So there is an emerging niche in this pasture sector. And that is what we are trying to provide a platform for, so that a lot of us can venture into it. And only recently, I think last week, we were at DFID, where the Islamic Development Bank is proposing to actually invest in supporting pasture for export. Pasture for export, because they too had challenges perhaps of water, so they have limited that. But most importantly, even within, like we said, with this emerging opportunity, people will have to be forced to actually invest in pasture if they really want to keep their herds. So it's an opportunity. So we're creating a platform, and then we'll, like I said, it's a golden opportunity. This is the first public outing we've actually have had to talk about this. So it's an opportunity that we're inviting people into. Very soon, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is working towards launching the pasture development program. Of course, we are already aware they are also rehabilitating available grazing reserves in partnership with state governments.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed Ali Baba. Now, I'd like to invite Annabel Camucci, Managing Director, Nyset Limited, to shed some light on the opportunities for organic farming and compliance with global standards. Can we have a round of applause, please? Sorry.
Thank you, everybody, and good evening. I wish to stand on existing protocols. My name is... My name is Annabel Camucci. I'm the Group MD of Nyset. Nyset is working in partnership with EcoSat of France. EcoSat is a third-party conformity assessment and certification body that is accredited to certify that products have complied with international standards for export. So these standards would include the organic standard according to the USDA organic protocol, the EU organic standard, the Japanese organic standard, the Canadian organic standard. It also includes fair trade, global good agricultural practice standard, Rainforest Alliance, and HACCP, which is a food safety standard, ISO 22000, ISO 9001, and other food safety standards and international standards that help products access lucrative markets without stress. Now, I just want to shed light on the organic regulation and organic agriculture in Nigeria and globally. In 2020, the size of organic production or organic market rose to about $185.8 billion despite the COVID situation. And unfortunately, Nigeria is not playing in that market at all. And the reason being, we have a lot of people who are claiming to have their products organic. But for you to send your product into the markets where you would get premium and it will be recognized as organic, a third-party conformity assessment and certification body that has been accredited by the regulatory body to certify that these products have complied with the standard have to issue certificate to you that your product has complied. And we have a lot of products in Nigeria that Nigeria has comparative advantage and is huge in the organic space. But right now, we are not taking advantage of it because of lack of conformity to standards. So it's not enough for you to claim that your product is organic. The third-party conformity assessment body must come and ensure that you have complied with those standards and issue you a certificate as proof of compliance. So what we have right now is people producing and saying, look, I'm not using synthetic fertilizers, I'm not using anything, but they lack traceability. So you are not able to trace the input that was used, the history of the land that was used, and all the activities leading towards harvest and export of those products. And certification, traceability is the bedrock for every certification that you want to get, especially as it relates to organic. For you to sell your products to the US, to the EU, to Australia, to Canada, where they are ready to pay premium, your product must have that certificate to show. So if an off-taker is asking for, say, ginger, because fortunately for us, the ginger in Nigeria is the best ginger in the world because of its potency. But people are not buying this ginger in Europe or in America because they want organic ginger. But if you don't have any proof in terms of certificate to prove that you have complied with the standard, they will not buy from you. So what has been happening in Nigeria is that you have Indians, people from Israel, you have Chinese people coming in, they put our farmers together, they train them on the standard, they give them seeds and all of the inputs necessary. They also have people like us who are part of their team. So they at the end of the day, they have this product certified. So certification comes from the process, the personnel, and the product. And at the end of the day, when they certify this product, they actually pay the farmers at the current market price of the day they harvest. And they sell it almost 3 to 4 times the original price. And the farmers remain poor. And if we continue like that, the young people won't want to go into agricultural production or agric at all, because for them it's not lucrative. But if they understand the standard, it makes it easier for people, for instance, to be able to sell. So I'll give you an instance of the ginger. When ginger was being sold for $900 for conventional ginger, organic ginger was being sold for $2,500 to $3,000 per ton. So the price difference is huge. So what people do is that the Indians take the ginger from Nigeria to India and then process it and then export from India to Europe and to America. And then when you look at the export index, you find out that China, India, they are one of the highest exporters of ginger in the world, while Nigeria is one of the highest producers of ginger. And if you look at the index of what goes out of Nigeria, most of our ginger is destined to go to India or China. So what I'm saying is, if we have the best, why wouldn't we go to the best market that we pay premium so that young people will become interested in being part of the agricultural value chain? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annabel Camucci, MD Nyset, for shedding some light on the opportunities for organic farming and compliance with global standards. Next on the program, we have the goodwill messages.
Professor of Economics at the University of the West of Scotland. I'm also the Director of the Centre for African Research on Enterprise and Economic Development at the university. I'm delighted that our centre here in Scotland will be partnering with this wonderful initiative by the Inara Foundation, the iPRODUCE Agribusiness Hub. There are so many areas of common interest between our two centres. My own centre in Scotland has a strong research emphasis on commodities and trade in Africa, female entrepreneurship, logistics, supply chains and value chains across commodities, particularly agricultural commodities. And of course, these are also areas of interest for the new hub as part of the Inara Foundation. So I wish to congratulate for creating this new hub, and I offer the support of my own centre here in Scotland in the months and years ahead as we contribute to the work and success of this wonderful initiative. Thank you.
It's a great pleasure for me to address you on this occasion of the launch of the agribusiness platform by Inara Foundation. I wish I were able to be with you, but the change of date made it impossible for me to be there. For many years, it's been known that growth in GDP driven by growth in agriculture has been largely a result of increased factor intensity and not factor productivity. Agriculture in Nigeria has always needed investments in productivity, technology, new products, access to markets, and links to global value chains. I'm happy that Inara Foundation has taken this into account and is working assiduously towards fixing this problem. I wish you the best in this launch, I congratulate Mrs. Aisha Omar for her work, and I look forward to seeing the results of this exercise. Thank you.
It is often said, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. True success is not just measured by how fast you get there, but rather how far you go. The importance of partnership cannot be overemphasized. As you are all gathered here today, you represent the different parts within the agribusiness ecosystem, of which the absence of one part reduces the overall success of the other in the ecosystem. In light of this, I enjoy you to see yourselves as partners, not as competitors. Considering all of this, it's no surprise that the NARA Foundation team decided to create the iPRODUCE digital platform to foster collaboration across youths in the agri-business ecosystem. This is indeed a remarkable achievement that would have a positive effect on the production and productivity of the agri-business ecosystem. As I close, I would like to applaud Mrs. Aisha Waziri Umar and her team for their continued efforts in education, food security, economic empowerment, and special needs. Indeed, many Nigerian lives are better off as a result of these efforts of the foundation. Thank you for having me, and I wish you a successful event.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I at this juncture invite none other than the founder and CEO of Inara Foundation, Mrs. Aisha Waziri Umar, to present the iPRODUCE Agribusiness Hub. Can we have a round of applause?
Thank you, Farida, for that wonderful, for facilitating so wonderfully. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you all. I'm delighted to welcome you here, and thank you so much for honoring our invitation to attend the launch of the Agribusiness Hub. I must begin by thanking our sponsors, especially the Islamic Development Bank, for believing in us. I'm sure many of you are wondering, what business does a lawyer have to do with agriculture? So before I start my presentation, I thought I should explain the context and how this came to be. As many of you are aware, I'm a legal practitioner, and I also run an organization called Inara Foundation, which I set up in 2015 to support victims of violence during the height of the insurgency in the Northeast. In the course of my humanitarian work, I interacted extensively with people at the grassroots level. This subsequently led to my engagement in the political process at the local level. One thing led to another, and I eventually contested for a seat at the Federal House of Representatives, hoping to represent the good people of Jere local government. As you know, I'm not a member. I don't have to explain what happened. Anyway, in the course of my interaction with the people while carrying out my political and humanitarian activities, I came to the realization that contrary to the perception that Borno was a semi-arid, wild area, that actually it had significant agriculture potential. And indeed, that there is actually considerable trade between Borno and neighboring countries, including Niger Republic, Chad, Cameroon, even as far as the Central African Republic and Sudan. Based on all these factors, I realized that there are significant opportunities for enhancing value addition and boosting trade. However, it was clear to me that the farmers' yields were low, the inputs were inadequate, and worst of all, they were trading in primary commodities with no value addition whatsoever. As we're all aware, without value addition, farmers do not capture the full value of their production. In order to support these farmers, therefore, I decided to go into rice production myself, using better inputs and high-yield seeds to boost overall production. And for value addition, I decided to set up 2 rice mills to process paddy, as there was no rice mill in the entire area, despite the fact that it was predominantly a rice farming community. I'm proud to say now that Inara is one of the leading local rice brands in Borno State. As time went by, my interest in agribusiness continued to grow. And being the curious person that I am, I decided to enroll for a PhD to research the World Trade Organization rules on agriculture, the dispute settlement system, and how we can use that tool to boost our agriculture exports. It became clear to me in the course of my research that full participation in the multilateral trading system requires non-state actors to get fully involved. And secondly, that us, the private sector, are the catalyst for Nigeria's economic growth. I also know that with the signing of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, that if Nigeria takes full advantage of this agreement, that could be used as a natural springboard for Nigeria's integration in global value chains. It is against this backdrop that iPRODUCE was conceived about 9 months ago, coupled with my passion and my desire to uplift the economic well-being of all Nigerians. So, having provided this context, I would like to give you a very brief tour of the website. For as the saying goes, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Technical team, can we put up? Yes. So I won't take long. This is the landing page. And as you can see up there, we have a menu. There's a home page. We have a section on About Us, which basically tells you about Inara Foundation and all the work that has happened before. We also have a resource center, which basically provides the current information and the latest technology in agriculture and agribusiness. We also have a training center, and we hope to provide virtual training in collaboration with our partners, including the Center for Enterprise and Africa Enterprise Development in Scotland, in collaboration with ABU Zaria Institutes for Agriculture, in collaboration with various institutes, universities. We're also collaborating with Nyset for standards, and we should be having trainings for organic agriculture, and so many other training programs. We also have a deal room. Now, this deal room is intended to connect our producers with the international market, so we can cut out these middlemen, these Indians who come and exploit our farmers and sell from there. We want to cut them. We will go everywhere in the world and promote Nigerian products so that they can deal with us directly. And we shall partner with the National Quarantine Agency for certification, because for plants and animals, For animals, you must go through the quarantine agencies. So we will sort all that, we will unpack that and make it easy for especially the young people to understand all the various steps. So training is very important. And the deal room, like I said, is to link you to markets. We already have several off-takers who are ready, who are waiting for us to start, for they want to buy Nigerian produce. I remember a Singaporean company called and said, can you please get us rice husk? And I said, rice husk? Yes, we want tons of rice husk. So I called my people in Maiduguri, in Jere, in the local. I said, what do you do with this rice husk when you mill it? They said, Hajia, muna zubarwa. They throw it away. And these are people who want to pay top dollar. This is just one example. Anyway, so moving up, just quickly tell you the 4 areas of focus. This is very important. We have to focus. We cannot be everywhere. So the 4 areas of focus are livestock, which is basically the beef, dairy, and the leather, which is, as you know, has huge potential. Nigeria happens to be, I think, Africa's largest cattle producer in Africa, I think. I don't know after the insurgency if we're still #1, but at some point we were #1 in Africa. Fruits and vegetables, as you know, Annabel has told us, just ginger alone, what potential there is there. Not to talk of the aubergines, which I've seen them throw away, and so many other things. Mangoes, pineapples, you know. There's also cotton and garment. Now, the garment industry is usually the first industry that you go into for industrialization. Let's say it is the low-hanging fruit for industrialization. I believe that if we focus on garmenting, that would save us a lot in terms of imports, and of course, it will help us for export as well. Finally, the essential oils. Essential oils are now, with the health and safety issues, we know oils are now, everybody's going natural. You know the problems with Johnson & Johnson had with cancer, of using all sorts of synthetic, either edible or for cosmetic purposes. So essential oils, which we know we have in abundance. All over the country we have oils, which all we need to do is extract and export. So we're going to train on these. These are our 4 focus areas. Could you go down a little more? So basically, again, just a little idea about the services. We shall provide agribusiness services. Every entrepreneur has to have basic business skills. So we shall provide those skills. And like I said, training, we've talked about the training, focusing on those 4 value chains. Team, technical team, can you just move up a bit? And of course, the resource center I've mentioned to you. We're going to put up the latest information, cutting-edge information on technology, and all the new methods that are being used. I think with technology, we can leapfrog from sustenance farming to commercial farming, and we really need to embrace that. And finally, like I said, we have the deal room, which we will hope to link various players in the agribusiness arena so they can come together and talk and do business together. So our goals and objectives, this is the last one. Basically, you know, we want to encourage youths to go into agriculture. We want to build capacity of young farmers. We want to train on sanitary and phytosanitary standards. We also want to tell them about non-tariff barriers, because there are some basic things like even labeling, rules of origin, which if you don't comply with, would result in your goods being rejected. So we must understand these rules. We also want to increase the knowledge of our agro-entrepreneurs in technology. Technology is the future. So agri-tech, and I'm very happy that IAP are into agri-tech, and they have a team that focused purely on agri-tech. I wish we had more time for them to even talk to us about what they do. We also finally are hoping that to create market linkages, like I said, so we can cut out all these middlemen that are exploiting our farmers. Last of all, if you go down, we have a blog, and that will basically show you all our activities. We have an MOU with Nyset. We have some economic empowerment programs, which are not just virtual, but real time. And of course, the issue of global food and safety and agriculture's health standards, etc. We're going to do quite a lot in these areas. So there's quite a lot on the website. I'm just giving you a teaser. I'm not going to go into the other features, or else we'll be here all night. I'd like everybody to please go to your phones and go to our website, which I believe is live, www.iPRODUCEAfrica.com. Please save it in your bookmark and, and go through it in your private time. Please support us. A lot of work has gone in. I'd like to thank Farida, Wilson. Where's Wilson? Farida. Gosh, I have so many. IAP, of course. Everybody who has just been working time. And Fatima is not here. Fatima Galaudu, web developer. Fatima Galaudu is a web developer. I gave her sleepless nights, horrors. Fatima, thank you so much. And of course, Mustafa is not here. He's in Kano. You know, with technology, everything is done virtually. Mustafa worked day and night, making the corrections on the website, etc. So Mustafa, I know you're watching this. Thank you for everything. I appreciate. And of course, Zainab Kashim, she also did the design before it was developed. As you know, you design, then you develop, and so on and so forth. I learned a lot about technology myself. At this juncture, sorry, I need water. Okay, I think I'd better stop. I would just like to thank our partners to be. NEPC, we're going to partner with. We haven't done the details, we should do that. Nexim, hopefully, and all the other agencies here. NAFDAC, hopefully. Thank you, everybody. And I want to thank my husband, because, yeah, I practice my speech with him, I think like, what, 100 times? I kept on. I have to practice it again. I'd have to sit patiently and make me go through this. So thank you very much for the patience and your support. Thank you. Honorable Minister, thank you again for coming. The minister was the first to arrive at the venue. And yeah. And that shows you that government is not sleeping. Contrary to what Mohammed Ali Baba, Mohammed, you came late. And then I can't believe you had, I won't say it, but you know what I mean. For the minister to have sat and waited almost an hour just for the private sector, to come. So here we are. All right then, thank you. At this stage, Farida, you better come and invite the Honorable Minister to do the launch. Thank you. Yes, I need water. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the beautiful presentation, Mrs. Aisha. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I now respectfully invite the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, His Excellency Mr. Ni Adebayo, to say a few words and formally launch the iPRODUCE Agribusiness Hub.
Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Finally, I have an opportunity to look at all your faces. I've been sitting down here with all of you behind me. So this is the first opportunity I've had to see your faces. I thank you very much for being here. First of all, before I read the remarks that I had prepared for me, I must thank most sincerely our chief host of today, Mrs. Aisha Umar. And not only do I thank you for the invitation, I must thank you most sincerely for that robust defense of government. I think it's most kind of you, and it's greatly appreciated. And for those of you who take delight in knocking government all the time, we listen to your criticisms. We try to act on them when we believe that you are right. But the most important thing is that, contrary to what people say, this government does not reject criticism. We allow people to criticize us. You are free to say your piece. We listen and we act accordingly. So I thank you very much. We shall do our best to stay awake at all times. And hopefully, as time goes on, your impression of government will change. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to deliver this goodwill address, as agribusiness is one that is very close to my heart. Agriculture is not just an industry or sector that provides employment. It is a way of life and the backbone of many cultures around the world. When I saw the invitation for this afternoon's event, I was happy because this is what Nigeria's agribusiness space needs. The late great President John F. Kennedy famously joked, and I quote, "The farmer is the only man in our economy who buys everything at retail, sells everything at wholesale, and pays the freight both ways," unquote. A platform like iPRODUCE goes a long way in ensuring that this is not the case for the next generation of farmers and agribusiness professionals, as it ensures they are able to derive maximum income from their businesses. Nigeria's young entrepreneurs are the future of our country, and the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is committed to supporting them. Young entrepreneurs don't need to be afraid of starting small. We have established a revised MSME policy to drive the growth and competitiveness of MSMEs in the country. The revised policy now includes nano and homestead businesses with a turnover of between 1 million naira and 3 million naira in its classifications, a move that encourages microfinance banks to lend to businesses in this demographic. The survival of MSMEs is critical to post-COVID recovery, and we are committed to providing practical support to smaller companies. We have concluded a landmark $1 billion United States syndicated term loan through the Bank of Industry, BOI. This intervention provides affordable loans of medium to long-term tenor alongside moratorium benefits to MSMEs. A great deal of agribusinesses are eligible for this scheme. These schemes are in addition to the MSME Survival Fund initiative, a component of the Nigeria Economic Sustainability Plan, to help MSMEs respond to the shock caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of the key highlights so far have been the following. A payroll support scheme. This successfully disbursed funds to 460,000 beneficiaries, of which 43% were female-owned businesses and who have benefited. B, general MSME grants, which successfully disbursed to about 45,000 beneficiaries, of which 35% female-owned businesses have benefited. And C, the CAC formalization scheme. We have successfully provided free company registration for over 200,000 MSMEs. We have also established a 15 billion naira MSME guaranteed offtake stimulus scheme, which we tag GOSS, G-O-S-S. And this is to protect and sustain the income of vulnerable micro and small enterprises by guaranteeing the offtake of their products. Many agribusinesses have already benefited and are to benefit from this intervention. We fully understand the importance of digital platforms like iPRODUCE, and this is why we have established the MSME Innovation Portal to ensure that MSMEs have access to a wider market and can be matched with customers and clients. I'm sure everybody here has heard people say that we now live in a global village. Navigating international trade can be a daunting experience for small businesses, and I'm pleased that the iPRODUCE platform will provide opportunities for businesses to learn more about capitalizing on opportunities under the African CFTA and understanding cross-border trading. The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is dedicated to seeing Nigeria thrive in the international business arena. We expect to conclude the development of a world-class investment policy that reflects sustainable development goals, climate concerns, the advent of the African CFTA, and position Nigeria as Africa's premier investment destination. Nigeria has been steadily moving up in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business ranking, and we aspire to be ranked among the top 30 countries in the world by the year 2023. I would like to commend Mrs. Aisha Umar and all the brains behind the iPRODUCE Agribusiness Hub for bringing this worthy concept to fruition. It therefore gives me great pleasure to formally launch the iPRODUCE Agribusiness Hub. To the glory of God and for the use of our teeming youth. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your unwavering commitment to improving Nigeria. May God bless all your businesses, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, sir, for launching the iPRODUCE Agribusiness Hub. We will now take a couple of questions or comments, so please indicate and we will bring the mic over to you. Okay.
Good afternoon. I stand on the existing protocol. Honorable Minister, sir. Thank you very much, Inara Foundation, for bringing us all here together. My name is Salihu Abubakar. I'm a farmer and a member of the Pasture Feeds Association. Thank you, Inara, for bringing us together. I'm particularly happy that you brought the central bank here. Yeah, because I have some serious concerns about two issues from the CBN. First, beautiful intervention programs, but you're always targeting the youth. How about us? Everything you said below 35, below 30, I'm above 35. What do you have for me? That's one. Secondly, very seriously, some of us have concerns about the interest rates, even though they're very small. But because of our religious beliefs, we cannot take any funds that have anything interest on them. So what kind of programs do you have for us? What intervention do you have for us? Because we also need to benefit from whatever the government is doing. So these are the two issues I have. Secondly, I want to talk to the lady from Nyset. Madam, we don't know you. We need to know Nyset. And you talked about standards. Who said, do we have standards for Nigeria, the organic farming? Who set the standards? Who is responsible? who will certify our products? Do we have to wait for people from abroad to come and certify my products in Nasarawa State? No, somebody should do it in Nigeria for us. So I think it's a big challenge for you. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Hashim Abdulkarim. I'm from IAP, Arewa Youth Agropreneur. Thank you, Ms. Aisha. I have a comment. I want to shed more light regarding, I'm a farmer and a commodity trader, but I want to talk basically on groundnuts. Thank God CBN is here, Minister of Investment and Ms. Aisha is here. I think we need this kind of advocacy because people are too reluctant in times of farming groundnut, and which I believe groundnut has a lot of input and a lot of comparative advantage in terms of animal feed and consumption. One, if you look at what happened this year, per bag of groundnut, which we have, I think, basically like 3 types. But the Java and the other one that is for oil production, which we call Kampala, it was about 70,000, a bag of 100 kg. 70,000, a bag of 100 kg. And groundnut doesn't have season. If you look at it, it doesn't have season. We always need groundnut, either for consumption or for oil. I think we need to improve in terms of this. Our local consumption is not even improving rather than exporting it. I have a client that demanded for Java groundnut for exportation, for exports. We searched for it. That was last year, but we couldn't find it. It is scarce. We cannot get it. The only groundnut you can have now is the dainty one, which you can only use for GNC production. That is for animal feed. I think we need to improve in terms of this one. This is one. Then the last one is, in terms of agricultural produce, most of these things are being produced in the north. But if you look at like this animal feed production, most of the company, like my clients, they are from Ibadan or Ogomosho. And most of these products are coming from here. We take it there to them and for animal feed production. I think we need to do something about this. Because by the time transportation, and if you look at cost of land, taxation and everything there is more costlier than in the north. I think we can reduce some cost and some things like this. I think we need to look at something like this and bring up an advocacy that will improve this. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. Can I?
Okay. If it's okay, let me give the central bank to respond, and then we quickly.
Okay, thank you so much. The questions from my brothers, I think 2 of them. Okay, number 1, he asked about, he is more than 35 years and quite a number of interventions from Central Bank are for youth. Well, thank you so much for this observation. At least you acknowledge that we have quite a number of interventions and a lot of people have actually benefited. That addresses also, although Honorable Minister has already addressed that addressed the fact that government is not sleeping because Central Bank is part of government and we're doing a lot. Thank you. So please, we have a lot of interventions that are also meant for, your own group. Let me start with MSMEDF, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Fund, which was launched way back, And at that, 60% of that intervention is meant for women. 2% is meant for people living with disability. And you are also part of those that can benefit from that intervention. It's available. Yeah. If I say women, and the other 40%, of course, is for everybody. You are one of them. And like I said, Uncle Boro I talked about is actually for all Nigerians, which I said including youth, because the talks here is about youth. Do you understand? So I only mention all those interventions. It's only one intervention that does not include the elderly people, and that is NYIF. Nigerian Youth Investment Scheme. And that is the only one which I said we did in collaboration with Federal Ministry of Sports and Youth Development. Youth and Sport Development. And then again, Honorable Minister also talked about, after. We're doing a lot to support people like you who are into processing for export. We have NESF. We have quite a number of other interventions that we're also doing in collaboration with Nexim Bank to support that. I can tell you, let me use this opportunity also to thank Honorable Minister, because even today we had a meeting on AFTA. I am lucky to be part of the committee, representing Central Bank. We're in a meeting trying to create also even a trade advisory, board, and also in International Center for Trade. So Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Honorable Minister, thank you so much. They are doing a lot in that space to support both the youth and any other person like you, my dear brother, so that we can be able to make progress in this, especially in agricultural space, my brother. So all that they are there, they are for you. I only made emphasis to you because today's topic is actually on the youth. Then the last question you asked is about interest, whether it is low or something is there are certain group of people who do not want interest-based transactions. In my presentation, my dear brother, I did talk about almost all our interventions, we have interest-based and non-interest windows as well. Recently, if you can remember, we launched 11 interventions of the CBN that have non-interest window. And out of those ones, we already have an existing one, which is CACS, Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme. Now, the total number of interventions that have non-interest window, they are 12 in number, including popular agriculture, Anko Browa you are talking about. We have real sector support facility. We have differentiated cash reserve. I can mention all of them right here, but the only thing due to the time, you need to know that go to your non-interest window, bank, like, I don't want to mention name. I'm not here to market for any bank. But then go to your bank, whichever one you want. I can tell you that there are appropriate commodities that can address, appropriate, product, from intervention from central bank that can actually address your question. So we have all of them.
Saying it's too high.
Even if the interest rate is too high. Well, for those who choose the interest-based transaction, we're talking about 5% at the moment. And I think looking at the market, my dear brother, sustainability, and then again, you need to know, central bank is actually not a profit-making organization. The commercial banks, or let me say PFIs, participating financial institutions, whom, based on our policy that sets central bank, you cannot come to us directly, you have to go through your bank, we do on lending. So if you look at the 5% structure, it's only 1% to cover administrative charges that comes to central bank, but the remaining 4% goes to commercial bank. They have to make profit because the credit risk is undone. It's a relationship between you and them. Then for us, we are not to make profit, but they are to make profit because the higher the risk, of course, the higher the return. They take the risk, therefore they are expected to make a little bit of a profit. And you know what is obtained out there in the market? Interest rate is something talking about double digit, but ours is always single digit. So you need to give a very big applause to the central bank governor for coming this area. Thank you so much and good afternoon, everyone.
Few words about the groundnut.
Okay, for groundnut, my dear brother. Okay, thank you so much. I think you used this is the right opportunity. Okay, Honorable Minister also will respond to you, but you use the right forum to advocate for your commodity. I think it's a good one. But my main concern is the last aspect, which you said processing is in the south, while production is in the north. I think you need to talk to yourself, although you have said it at the right time, this is a forum, so why can't the youth here take advantage of that? Because it becomes an opportunity. Let them establish processing. If you need money for that, for both greenfield and brownfield, there is money in central bank. Come, access this money, set up the business so that you can process in the north as well, so that the country will also balance. So it's a challenge for everybody. Please, there is a market there, there's an opportunity, and there is money lying somewhere. Please take it up and do the right thing at the right time. Thank you so much. Honorable Minister, I want to say something.
Yes, I just wanted to comment on the issue of certification and quality. Many of you may not be aware, but earlier this year, the Federal Executive Council approved the National Quality Policy, which was put together by my ministry. And based on that, and working in conjunction with the Afrexim Bank, a National Quality Lab will be commissioned before the end of this year in Abeokuta, Ogun State. And sometime next year, they are hopeful that they will have about 4 other labs across the various parts of the country. They're working in conjunction with, I believe, Cotecna, which is an inspection agency, and the whole idea is that they will certify products leaving Nigeria, which will enable goods that go abroad to have proper certifications. So, thank you.
I'd like to just quickly say, okay, yes, we have somebody to, Nyset, a question was directed at her. But before we say that, I want to just mention our advisory board. If you go to the About Us page on iPRODUCE, and you click About Us, you'll see the advisory board. Now, that advisory board was picked specially to provide support, mentorship, guidance. And one of our advisory board members here, Aisha Bako, is a private equity investor specialist. And her business is to link agri-entrepreneurs with potential investors. So you don't have to borrow. You may, if you have a good business plan, get investors. So Aisha is around. We're short of time, otherwise I would have asked her to speak about what she does. And if you look at our advisory board, you'll also see people like Idris Mohammed, who is he's based in the UK, works with a company, an equity investment company called Altera, and also they're big. We have, sorry, off the top of my head, we have so many people. So essentially, we are aware of all the challenges. And as we go along, we're also going to be engaging with the Ministry of Trade and Investment now that the minister hopefully knows us, and we will be following them, shadowing the minister, and helping to promote and create the awareness through the iPRODUCE platform of all that they're doing, and of course the central bank as well. So I think I'd like Annabel to answer a very important question to do with whether training for standards has to be done abroad or locally. Annabel,
okay, so
please.
it's not training. I think he was talking about certification. So he wanted to know if Nigeria has standards for organic. Unfortunately, Nigeria does not have standard for organic right now. And I know that we are speaking to Son. Son set up a committee to try to create a standard for organic, because part of what we told them was that if you have a standard for organic, there is what is called equivalence. So what we wanted to do is take a standard like the USDA NOP, that's the National Organic Protocol of the United States, or the EU Organic Standard, which both of them are very popular and they have what is called equivalence, and then domesticate it in Nigeria so that we have a standard in Nigeria, and maybe through executive order or the National Assembly, it becomes a regulation. And then we can now apply to the EU or the US to ask for what is called equivalence. So equivalent means I have produced according to the Nigerian Organic Protocol or Organic Regulation that is equivalent or that is similar to yours. Let me be able to sell my product in your country as organic. And once you enter into that agreement, farmers don't now have to be certified in Nigeria, and then when they want to export, they will certify. Now, when we came into the space, there were actually no third-party certification bodies that could certify for organic in Nigeria. So we partnered with ECOSAT to use the ECOSAT certification. So we have freelance auditors that are staff of Nyset, but are freelance auditors for ECOSAT, so they are certified, they are qualified for the organic scheme. So be it organic for wild collection, for crop production, and for apiculture. And they are now able to certify that products have complied with either the EU organic regulation or the US organic regulation for export into the US or EU or even Japanese, because they all have what is called equivalence. And then I wanted to speak to what the Honorable Minister has said about certification when it comes to testing. So laboratory testing is different from third-party certification. So if you take your product, for instance, to the lab to do food analysis, and they certify that this food is safe, does not mean that if the client in the importing country is asking for organic or fair trade or good agricultural practice standard, global good agricultural practice standard, or Rainforest Alliance, that it has now complied. What it means is that the food is safe, but however, the compliance aspect of it is for you to go through the entire process. So it's processed from primary production all the way to the final product that you get for export. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
The whole idea of what is being put together between Cotecna and Afrexim Bank is to take care of exactly what you're talking about. Thank you.
Okay, we have one more or two more questions.
Honorable Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sidi Aliu Abdullahi, and I happen to be one of the advisory members of this iPRODUCE. I just want to add something to this issue on certification. And generally speaking also, I also want to add on the issue of value chain development. You see, a lot of our entrepreneurs believe that they have to do everything from scratch up to the market. It's not actually necessary. You can concentrate on one aspect of the business, perfect on it, and then allow other people to do the rest. And you will still find that it's a very lucrative thing to do. A farmer shouldn't bother himself about getting his product certified if he is not actually linking that product. It's not the person responsible for linking the product to the external market. Other people will be able to do that. And then one important thing about certification is that if you really want your product or your commodity to be accepted, and the buyer insisted that that product must be certified, then you don't have a choice. And that is where an agency like Nyset can come to help. They will now develop the standard for you to meet up the requirement of the buyer so that you'll be able to sell your product. But in the interim, what she was saying is correct. Nigeria doesn't have, and that is what the Honorable Minister is trying to say, that the ministry or the government is not sleeping. Efforts are being put in place on a daily basis to see how exports will be facilitated for everybody. So I thank Hajia for coming up with this initiative. I happen to be engaged to talk to this association while I was still in the public service. And I think this is a second opportunity for me to serve on the advisory board because I believe there are a lot of opportunities for our youth to take advantage of. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have a question.
Introduction. Since you advised.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aisha Yakubu Bako. Honorable Minister, good evening. All protocols observed. I'm the investment lead of LINKS, DFID or FCDO, which is the Investment and Economic Development Program supporting 3 focal states in Nigeria, Kano, Kaduna, and Jigawa. But apart from that, my role in iPRODUCE is solely on investment facilitation and financial flows. We are available to provide advice to you on how you can access funding, putting your business together, even putting a deal, your pitch together if you want to access funding. Whatever challenges you have during production, we also support from production, value addition, and even we will help you develop your strategy all the way. One area that we are working on together is doing sort of a value-added investment promotion activity by bringing foreign investors into Nigeria, but linking them with our own entrepreneurs in Nigeria to be part of the production process all the way to access to market. So I think that's generally what we are here for. If you have any information or you have any questions, we're available either directly to the website or by phone.
My last comments. I think everybody has had a good dose of us, so I think we'll end. Before we end, I'd like to just say that iPRODUCE is available for everyone. Our focus is youth, but we're not excluding others. That's number one. Number two, to get full value, please register as a member of iPRODUCE. Your membership will entitle you to the latest information about our activities. It will also give you information about government policies. As like I said, we will shadow the ministers of agriculture, Minister of Trade and Investment, Minister of Science and Tech, and so on and so forth. And we will be feeding our members with information and we'll be providing our members with support. But please, if you don't register, you will miss out. So if possible, please sign up and become a member now. At this junction, I think we should, I think we should call it a day. We have provided you gift bag with Inara rice, all the way from Borno. So please, yes. Please enjoy your tuwon shinkafa or jollof rice as you wish with our, on us, have it on us. And if you don't mind, if you have a few minutes, can we move to the next door? We have some snacks, refreshments, 5-10 minutes, let us interact informally. And thank you so much. Let me give Farida the microphone to close.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of this auspicious event, and on behalf of Inara Foundation, we would like to thank everyone who has made today a success. We would like to thank the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, His Excellency Mr. Ni Adebayo, who has taken time out of his busy schedule to be a part of this event. Our sponsors, the Islamic Development Bank, our partners, Jaiz Bank, Sterling Bank, Center for African Research on Enterprise and Economic Development, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, iCreate, and Adelab. Members of the press, our panelists from the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Nyset Limited, Arewa Youth Agropreneurs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We say a very big thank you, and we really appreciate your grace in this occasion. We'll now move to the next room where we have some refreshments. You can ask any more questions or comments. That's the room by my left, and have a good evening. Thank you.